Experiencing church hurt can challenge faith, but forgiveness opens paths to healing.
Alright, guys. I want to talk about a topic. I have a question. Have you been hurt in church? And how did you respond if you did?
Mm, not me. Maybe Tito Louis.
I didn't, but I know people that got hurt.
Mm.
Mm, I
Do you
don't know.
have,
I
in,
was
do you have insights on that? And why did they get hurt? And how did they respond to it?
Um, most of them are not in church anymore.
Oh. So they left because they got hurt.
Part of it, but they came back after like a couple of months,
mhm.
So
and then
what
they left again.
so what kind of hurt do you think this was? Like, I mean, without just exposing the person, um, what kind of hurt did they feel? Were they betrayed? Were they being talked back to, or were there some, you
Mostly
know,
it's betrayal.
Mm.
could you expand on that? Like, what kind of betrayal? Like, some secrets were spread that weren't supposed to be?
Like rumors or something.
Yes.
Mm.
Okay. That's,
For me, I haven't experienced anything, and probably I knew someone that. I mean, it's a church. It's like not everyone there is perfect. So at some
Mhm.
point, the very closest, would hurt the most.
yep.
Like a family would hurt the most. It's fine if it is like a friend, but if your best friend hurt you, that hurts the most. So I cannot blame them if they will leave church. It's part of like growing up too. Like, okay, if this place is not conducive for you to grow, then I think you need a, a place where you can, start up and grow again. Yeah,
Mm.
that's
I
for
guess
me. Yeah.
now that I think about it, I was part of it. Like I was betrayed by my leader.
How did you feel about that?
Uh, at first, I felt numb. Like I didn't care. I was just like trying to move forward.
Uh-huh.
But then at some point, I felt angry and mad at that person. So I don't know if that's part of the question, because the question is church, right? But the way it is for me is a church member hurt me, not the
Oh,
church.
well,
So
that's
I don't.
kind of started, kind of still
Yeah.
part of that, because the church is everybody involved in it. Nobody
Mm-hmm.
inside
Mhm.
the church is perfect, but they could hurt you.
Hmm.
Right.
And that's part of it.
Yeah. I mean, these
Yeah.
people are, we're in the same sinking boat. So, yeah. So at some point, we have different personalities. We have different upbringings. And yeah, for sure, we will hurt each other.
Mm,
Yeah.
for
So
sure. Yeah. We're not all perfect people,
yeah,
right? And
yeah. And hurting
it's
another. Go Tito. Lu.
I was gonna say it was interesting for me because like I had to see the person a lot still, you know.
Mhm.
And at that time it wasn't really like I wasn't really thinking too hard about it, but then I
Mhm.
started realize that like oh, it's like, you know, I don't interact with that person anymore kind of thing. Like
Mhm.
they're there, but it's like You know,
Whatever.
it's just like okay, he's there, whatever. And then I think what helped me grow out of it was that like realizing that oh, the church is full of broken people, just
Yeah.
like you and that, you and me. And I'm sure I've hurt a lot of people too because I'm a very blunt person,
Hmm.
as I was growing in Christ. So I was like, okay, I just kept asking God, like, Lord, help me forgive this person. And you know how God works. It's like whenever you ask for that, He'll keep putting you to that situation.
Hmm.
Put you to the test.
Yeah, yeah. But I think we never became friends. It was mostly just acquaintances after that. What happened?
Interesting.
But in my mind and in my heart, like I'm continuing to forgive that person. And that's probably why that person left because, it wasn't he wasn't for that church, I guess. And it helped me kind of like, okay, because I'm not seeing that person anymore, like, okay.
Kind of move on because they're not there. They're not present. So it's time to
Yeah.
move on. Oh, okay.
And like whenever comes to a point where that person is there, it's like just hey, hi, hello. It's not like before where we're like very close and we like share each other's thoughts and feelings, but not anymore.
Get it.
Yeah.
Are you comfortable sharing what kind of hurt did that person inflict on you?
Uh, it was mostly emotional, like
Mm.
something with regards to like relationship. Because he's my leader, so like I was looking up to him, but then he did something that was not supposed to be what a leader does.
Hmm.
And then, you know, it kind of, oh yeah, I don't think it ruined my walk with God, but it kind of opened
Still,
my eyes to like, it opened my eyes to like, oh no, you don't look at that person, you look at like how God shows himself to that person.
Yeah.
I think that was the biggest lesson for me.
Yeah. So one of our friends too, I think shared the same thought about it. Yeah, one he said like, yeah, it's important not to put your faith on that person, but to Jesus himself. And I think, yeah, it would change your perspective on the things that you're going through.
Yep, it
Yeah.
did change a lot from my
Yeah,
perspective at least.
it's actually true because at church I think it's we're very vulnerable to be hurt because everyone there is not would rub us in a different way, like
Hmm.
because they have different personalities than us. And church is like a hospital for sinners. There's no perfect one in there. Anyone there's sinful just like you and I. So when it comes to hurt, yeah, at some point it will happen. But what matters is not that hurt. It's about what will happen next. Are we
Hmm.
able to forgive them or what? Because
Yeah.
yeah, it's based on the person who got hurt, the forgiveness that he or she needs to do.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
so can you say, have you ever lost faith because of that? Like on going to church? Or do you know anybody who's lost faith in in Christ because of that event, or that kind of scenario where they got hurt in church, they lost faith, and they just straight up left. Like, I don't believe in Christ anymore because the people inside it are just hurting me. Have you had any encounter like that?
Pounder.
Or would you say something like that should be um I'm trying to look word I'm looking for. If 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 that person leaving was justified, or since they got hurt, should they should was them leaving justified, leaving that church, and because that church caused them hurt, caused them pain. You think it was justified for them to leave?
Mm.
And will would you say can that person still find Christ after leaving church?
Oh, with regarding to the last question, for sure, you can still find Christ, like even you after leaving church, because church is there for the community and then reminding you back that who you are in Christ. But if that community hurt you, you can move on. You can find different community. If it doesn't help you, if that community doesn't help you or that church doesn't help you grow more with Christ, I mean, I think it's fine to leave because you know the main purpose of church is you building a relationship, you growing together. But if you're not growing, then there's a problem right there. And then finding a new community would help you, you know, to find
Yeah.
Christ. Yeah.
And to add to that, like in the situation that I was mentioning, that person did find Christ and is now like one of the leaders in a different church.
Hmm. Yeah.
And then, he found his wife. They have kids now, so I think that shows, that kind of helps what Ed said that yeah, you can still find Christ even if you got hurt in church.
Yeah. I mean,
And
Christ is not bounded in church, like
right,
in the structure itself. He can God God can show himself in your deepest trouble, in your deepest hurt. God can show himself. Jesus can show himself. And the only thing, it's only him can heal you with that deepest hurt that you've experienced. So
right.
yeah.
And in spite of that hurt, you know, his purpose still shows and his love
Hmm.
and mercy
Yeah.
because it was a lesson, for all of us that was part of it. And, we all grow from it and we all learned some part of God, like his love and his mercy and his grace. And like how powerful his love is to, like for me, how powerful his love is to forgive, that even if that person hurt you, like because of God's love, I was able to forgive and continue to forgive that person.
Exactly. Yeah. Right.
All right, so that's pretty good stuff. So our points there was, you get to acknowledge you were hurt, because everybody hurts, and
Hmm.
I think the response you had was you brought it to God, and got reconciliation and forgave that person, and
Hmm.
even that hurt, that kind of hurt that you both felt, or you felt, um, you both of you still found God. And like what
Yeah.
he's saying here as well, like God will meet us even in the valley or desert.